Howard Weiss, a mathematics professor at Georgia Tech, has teamed up with Vicki Hertzberg from Emory School of Nursing. They are the principal investigators in a newly released study on how certain respiratory illnesses might spread during air travel.
So we were curious as to how much movement had to do with transmission of disease in the airplane.
This is a project to quantify the transmission of large droplet-mediated respiratory infectious diseases in an airplane cabin during flight.
The study, published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, tracked passenger movement during 10 cross-country flights and then created thousands of simulated flight models based on that data.
And then we leveraged that to be able to create thousands and thousands of different flights where on each flight, each simulated flight, each passenger has the movement of some passenger who is seated in that seat on one of the 10 flights.
Their findings suggest that germs probably don't spread any faster aboard airplanes than they do in other common settings. Their chief finding:
if somebody is seated either one row ahead or one row behind or two seats lateral to an infectious passenger, then they are the most likely to become infected.
If you're seated further than a few feet from an infected passenger and you practice good hand hygiene, you're very unlikely to become infected.
They also sampled the cabin air during these flights.
Boeing refreshes its air, I'm told, much more frequently than your average office building. On all these surfaces and in all the air samples, we submitted them for testing with a panel of 18 common respiratory viruses that might be transmitted, and all of those samples were negative.
The study focused only on these common respiratory viruses and how they might spread in a passenger airliner. It did not look at other places in which passengers might get infected, like in the airport gatehouse area before boarding, or standing in a line at a hotel registration desk, or riding in a crowded subway car. It also did not measure the many other ways travelers might get sick during travel, such as picking up germs from surfaces that a sick passenger has touched.
I could also be infected and cough on my hand and then go to the lavatory, touch a knob, and then you go to the lavatory, touch the same knob, and then you wipe your eye or your nose.
But frequent hand washing or using a hand sanitizer during travel can go a long way to keep you from getting sick.
The findings from this study haven't stopped me from flying.